I am sending love to you right now. It has already left my hands, and it is moving toward your door. Do not walk away from this message before it finishes. If you do, you will miss the exact answer you have been begging for. I was in the room when you sat on the edge of your bed. You looked at the empty wall and wondered if anyone truly sees how much you pour out. You give everything you have to the people around you, and when you are empty, you sit in the silence and realize no one is pouring back into you. My beloved child, I see you. I have always seen you. Stay with me today. Do not let the noise of the world pull you away. You will understand why my love felt so distant for so many years. You will feel the heavy stone of loneliness fall completely from your chest, and you will finally know how to open your hands to receive the beautiful thing I have prepared for you. I am speaking directly to your tired heart. If you are ready to receive this, type, "I am ready," and stay with me. You have been the strong one for too long. You are the one who answers the phone when others fall apart. You are the one who holds the pieces together when the house shakes. But there is a question you whisper into the dark when you are completely alone. Who takes care of me? Who holds me when I am the one falling apart? I hear that question. It is not a weak question. It is the honest cry of a soul that was never meant to carry the weight of the world alone. You have smiled through seasons of intense pain. You told them you were fine because you did not want to be a burden. But I know the difference between a real smile and a brave mask. You learned to hide your needs. You thought that being loved meant making yourself useful to others. So you served them. You fixed their problems. You gave away your energy until your own spirit felt entirely dry. And then you looked around the quiet room and felt a terrible isolation. You felt completely forgotten. I want to tell you the truth about that isolation. It was never my intention for you to feel abandoned. I did not turn my face away from your tears. When you cried in the shower so no one would hear you, I was standing right there. I caught every single tear. Not one of them was wasted or ignored. You have asked me why the love you give is never returned in the same measure. You pour out gold, and you receive pennies in return. You have started to believe that you are simply hard to love. That is a lie. It is a lie planted by the noise of the world to keep you locked in a cycle of silent despair. You are profoundly easy to love. Listen to my voice. The people who took your love and gave nothing back were never meant to be your source of life. They are broken vessels. A broken vessel cannot hold water, and it certainly cannot quench your deep thirst. You have been going to dry wells and wondering why your throat is still parched. I am sending love to you now because you are finally ready to receive it from the right source. For a long time, you would have accepted crumbs. You would have settled for a fraction of what you deserve just to avoid feeling alone. I had to let the dry wells remain dry so you would stop drinking from them. This is a hard truth to hear. I know it hurts. But I love you too much to let you settle for crumbs. The love I am sending you is not a fragile human affection that changes with the weather. It is not a conditional promise that disappears when you stop being useful. It is an overwhelming tide of grace. Do not close your heart now. I know you are tempted to build a wall. When you have been hurt repeatedly, a wall feels like safety. But a wall that keeps the pain out also keeps the blessing out. You have built a fortress out of your disappointments. I am asking you to lower the bridge. I am not asking you to trust the people who broke you. I am asking you to trust me. The love I have for you is older than the stars. It was written into your foundation before you took your first breath. You do not have to earn it. You do not have to fix anyone to be worthy of it. You only have to stand still and let it arrive. Your weary shoulders need a place to rest. You have carried the expectations of others like a heavy winter coat. Take it off. It is not cold anymore. The season is changing. The love I am sending will feel strange at first because it requires absolutely nothing from you. It only requires your open hands. I know the argument you have been having in your mind. You look back at the past few years and you see a string of empty rooms. You wonder why I allowed you to walk through so much lonely territory. You ask why the people you loved so fiercely were allowed to walk away without looking back. I am going to answer that question today. I am not going to offer you a polite excuse. I will give you the plain truth. The rejection you experienced was not a punishment. The isolation you felt was not a sign that you were flawed. It was a boundary I placed around you. It was a necessary wall. When you love people, you give them access to your deepest places. And because your heart is so generous, you often give access to people who do not know how to handle holy things. They walk into your sacred spaces with muddy shoes. They take your warmth and leave you in the cold. I watched this happen. I saw the damage it was doing to your beautiful spirit. And so, I began to remove them. I let the conversations fade. I let the connections break. You cried when they left because you thought you were losing your community. But I was performing a rescue mission in the dark. I am going to name this for you so you can never unsee it. This is the unseen shield. It is the invisible covering I placed over your life when you were too tired to defend yourself. You called it a season of brutal loneliness. I call it the time I kept you hidden until the storm had safely passed. You prayed for them to stay. You begged me to fix the relationships, and I answered that prayer with silence. Silence is deeply painful when you are desperate for a yes. But silence and refusal are not the same thing. Between your asking and my answering, a critical work was being done to protect you. If I had given you what you asked for back then, it would have destroyed you. You would have spent the rest of your life shrinking yourself to fit into their small boxes. You would have poured all your golden energy into a black hole. The unseen shield preserved the core of who you truly are. Look back at those years with new eyes. You were not abandoned. You were securely guarded. Every time a door slammed in your face, I was standing on the other side holding it shut. I held it shut because I knew the room behind it was filled with poison. I took the blame so you could take the exit. Now you stand here today. You are bruised and you are cautious. You hesitate to open your heart again because the memory of that coldness is still fresh. I understand your hesitation. I do not condemn you for being careful. A burn victim does not run back into the fire. Caution is a wise teacher, but caution must not become your permanent address. The unseen shield was designed for a specific season of danger. The danger has passed. The toxic elements have been cleared from your path. If you continue to wear the armor, you will block the very love I am sending to you right now. This is the core of the message I brought you here to hear. Your isolation was never my absence. It was a temporary holding pattern. And that pattern is officially ending today. The love I am sending is not going to look like the love you lost. It is going to look like peace. You are so used to chaos that peace feels boring to you. You have been trained to associate deep love with high anxiety. The people in your past kept you constantly guessing. They made you work for their affection. You learned to read their moods just to survive the evening. That is not love. Real love does not require you to translate your soul into a smaller language. Real love sits quietly beside you and asks nothing but your presence. It arrives without a bill of sale. I am sending you a love that does not demand a performance. You can simply exist and be entirely celebrated. I need you to prepare your mind for this shift. When the good things begin to arrive, your first instinct will be to sabotage them. You will think it is too good to be true. You will wait for the hidden trapdoor to open. Do not let the trauma of your past dictate the reality of your future. Take a deep breath right now. Feel the air fill your lungs. That breath is proof that you survived the worst of it. The hardest chapters are closed. You walked through the lonely valley and you did not break. You bent, you cried, and you bled, but your foundation held firm. I am so proud of you. There is a specific prayer you stopped praying a long time ago. You used to whisper it every single night before you went to sleep. But eventually, the words felt completely hollow in your mouth. You stopped saying them because hoping started to hurt much more than accepting the absolute silence. I know exactly when you stopped asking me for that breakthrough. You did not lose your faith entirely. You simply decided that my answer to that specific request was a permanent no. You watched other people receive the exact blessing you had been begging for. You clapped for them while your own heart quietly shattered. You watched the seasons change outside your window. Spring turned into summer, and winter brought its bitter cold. And through every single changing season, your specific prayer remained completely unanswered. You felt like a forgotten ghost haunting your own life. You wondered if your voice was somehow defective. You have drawn a terrible conclusion from my silence. You concluded that you were not worthy of the thing you asked for. You told yourself that you must have prayed with the wrong words. You assumed that my silence meant I had turned my back on you completely, my beloved child. That is fundamentally untrue. I need you to hear this truth deep in your spirit. Silence and refusal are absolutely not the same thing. The human heart struggles to tell the difference between a closed door and a locked door. When heaven is quiet, you assume you are forgotten. But a father, sitting in the dark, beside his sleeping child, makes no sound at all. The father is completely silent, but he is intensely present. I am going to name this reality so you can hold on to it tightly. This is the quiet answer. It is the holy and necessary space between your request and my delivery. The silence does not mean I am ignoring your tears. It means I am actively working on the vessel. If I pour a massive blessing into a vessel that is not ready, it will crack under the pressure. The blessing will spill out onto the dirt and be entirely wasted. I love you far too much to give you a gift that would ultimately crush you. So I withhold the answer. I let the beautiful silence stretch out. While you were crying about the delay, I was busy expanding your capacity to hold the promise. The quiet answer is not a punishment for your lack of faith. It is the ultimate proof that I am treating your future with profound respect. I am making sure that when the love arrives, you will not lose it. I want you to look back at the years you called a terrible wasteland. You thought you were wandering aimlessly while I ignored your cries for help. You were not wandering. You were being brilliantly forged in the fire. Look honestly at the incredible strength you carry in your soul today. You did not build that resilience during the easy seasons of instant answers. You built that strength entirely inside the agonizing silence. You learned how to stand firm when you had absolutely no evidence to support you. You learned how to comfort others from the depth of your own unhealed wounds. That is the miraculous work of the quiet answer. I was quietly expanding your heavy foundation. Remember the invisible covering we talked about earlier. The unseen shield kept the toxic people away from you. The quiet answer kept the right blessings safe until you were truly strong enough to carry it. Both the shield and the silence were profound acts of my love for you. I am not asking you to suddenly feel perfectly happy about the long wait. I understand that the waiting has carved deep lines into your heart. I am asking you to change exactly one word in your daily routine. When you look at the empty space in your life, do not ask why I abandoned you. Ask what I am currently building inside that empty space. Changing that one word shifts your entire posture from defeat to eager anticipation. You move from being a victim of silence to an heir of a massive promise. If you are willing to make that shift today, I need you to take a tiny step. Type "love is here" if you feel the heaviness lifting. Typing those words is an act of defiance against the lies of the enemy. It proves that the silence did not successfully break your beautiful spirit. The heaviness is leaving because the lie has finally been exposed. You are not a forgotten child standing in a cold and silent universe. You are a chosen heir waiting in a very busy workshop. I am still hammering out the beautiful details of your future. Stay in the room. I hear the quiet objection rising in your mind right now. You are listening to my words and a part of you is desperately trying to push them away. You are thinking that this beautiful promise is meant for someone else, someone whose life is not as complicated or as damaged as yours. You look at your history and you see a long list of permanent mistakes. You see the years you wasted on the wrong people. You see the opportunities that slipped through your fingers while you were paralyzed by fear. And you conclude that you have officially aged out of your own miracle. You believe that my love is a pristine thing reserved for pristine people. You think you are the exception to my grace because your scars are too deep. You have tried to hope before, and it blew up in your face. You knelt and you prayed, and you ended up entirely heartbroken again. My beloved child, I am not offended by your intense doubt, but your doubt is completely blind to the reality of how my kingdom actually works. I do not run away from complicated histories. I am irresistibly drawn to them. The pristine people, who have never been broken, do not know how to truly value this love. They treat my blessings like a cheap entitlement, but a person who has starved in the desert knows the absolute miracle of a single cup of water. Your deep brokenness is not your disqualification. It is your exact qualification. I am not looking for a perfect museum to simply display my shiny love. I am looking for a beautifully restored home. And a home is only fully restored after it has been severely weathered by the terrible storms of life. You are perfectly positioned. I want to totally shatter the heavy lie that you have run out of time. Time is just a tool that I invented. Time does not dictate any terms to me. I can accomplish more in a single unexpected Tuesday than you could achieve in 20 years of exhausting human effort. Your calendar does not intimidate your creator. Do not tell me that it is too late for you to be violently and completely loved. Do not tell me that your heart is too numb to ever beat rapidly again. I am the one who breathes life into dry bones. I am the one who brings dead things back to vibrant life. Your numbness is just a temporary defense mechanism. It is a thick crust over a remarkably tender heart. Remember the quiet answer we just spoke about. The silence was preparing you for the very moment the door swings wide open. I want to show you exactly what is waiting on the other side of that door. Come with me right now. Step out of your current anxiety and look at the life I am building for you. Come with me to an ordinary morning 6 months from now. It is a completely normal weekday. The weather outside is doing nothing remarkable. You wake up before the alarm rings. Your feet find the cool wooden floor without a single argument. You walk into your kitchen and you start to make your morning coffee. You stand by the window with the warm cup resting against your palm. You look out at the quiet street, and I want you to notice what happens in your body. You do not brace for impact. Your shoulders stay relaxed and low. Your jaw is entirely unclenched. You breathe in deeply and the air feels impossibly light. Notice exactly what is missing in that future room. The crushing tightening behind your ribs is simply not there. You do not mentally run through a terrifying list of potential disasters before the sun is even fully up. The phone lies face down on the counter, and you do not feel it threatening your peace. The deep silence in the house does not frighten you anymore. That is the part you cannot picture from where you are standing today. You are standing inside a perfectly quiet room with a cup in your hand, and nothing inside your soul is running away. You are profoundly and safely anchored in my love. That peaceful woman or that steady man in the kitchen is not a foolish fantasy. That person already exists. That version of you is not being assembled in some faraway galaxy. That reality is standing just on the other side of the heavy burden you are still refusing to drop today. The distance between you and that beautiful morning is not a matter of time. The distance is a matter of permission. You have to give yourself permission to stop living like a victim of your past. You have to permit the thick armor to fall off your chest. I cannot force you to drop the heavy shield. I need you to say yes to that future, not with a massive public declaration. Just say it quietly, in the room you are sitting in right now. Say out loud that you are finally ready to be loved without fighting it. Say it today, and that peaceful morning will immediately start walking toward your front door. You have spent your entire life waiting for a very specific kind of love to arrive. You have a picture in your mind of exactly what it should look like. It looks like loud celebrations and grand gestures, and people finally recognizing your worth. And because you have never received that specific picture, you have firmly concluded that you are fundamentally unloved. I see the intense pain that conclusion causes you every single day. You watch other people receive the exact kind of affection you have been desperately waiting for. You smile and congratulate them while a deep ache hollows out your chest. You wonder why my hand seems so incredibly generous to them while it remains completely closed to you. You feel utterly bypassed. I am going to gently dismantle that terrible lie right now. You have never been bypassed by my love, not for a single second of your entire life. You are simply suffering from a tragic case of mistaken identity. You have been staring so hard at the front door waiting for a parade that you completely missed what came in through the window. Love does not always arrive wearing a shiny ribbon. Sometimes it arrives wearing heavy work boots and holding a shovel. I am going to name this reality for you so you can finally stop feeling abandoned. This is the unrecognized delivery. It is the profound truth that my love has been actively sustaining you every single day under a completely different name. You asked for a person to hold you while you cried in the dark. I did not send a person. I sent you a supernatural endurance that kept your mind from completely shattering during the darkest week of your life. That endurance was not your own natural strength. That was my fiercely protective love wrapping itself around your fragile nervous system. You asked for public validation for all your incredibly hard work. I did not give you public applause. I gave you a profound and quiet integrity that allows you to sleep peacefully at night. The world rewards loud performers, but I reward the faithful ones. Your quiet integrity is a massive deposit of my love directly into your weary soul. Look back at the heavy years you considered completely loveless. You were never starving. You were being fed a different kind of bread. The people who received the loud and flashy love often lost it as quickly as it came. But the quiet strength I planted inside you has never once faded. The unrecognized delivery actually saved your life. Do you finally see how the quiet answer makes perfect sense now? The silence was not an empty void where I forgot about you. The silence was the necessary quiet space where I was dropping off these heavy deliveries of survival and grace. I had to quiet the room so you could hear the subtle sound of my provision arriving at your feet. You are the one who answers for everyone else. You are the one who carries the heavy bags for the entire family. A loud and fragile love would not have survived the intense pressure of your daily life. You needed a love made of solid steel, and that is exactly what I have been secretly pouring into you for decades. You are a vessel of honor. I want you to stop grieving the things I did not send. Grieving the imaginary parade is blinding you to the absolute miracle of your own survival. You were built to carry a much heavier glory than the shallow affection the world constantly chases. The profound love I sent you was custom built for a warrior. So today I am asking you to do one small thing. Do not ask me for the shiny ribbon anymore. Stop comparing your profound journey to the shallow highlight reels of other people. Take 5 minutes tonight to look at the massive strength you currently possess. Acknowledge that you did not generate that strength on your own. Say out loud that you have been fiercely provided for. Acknowledging the unrecognized delivery instantly breaks the spirit of heaviness off your life. You have been deeply and passionately loved this entire time. And the incredibly beautiful part is that the delivery is not even close to being finished. What has sustained you in secret is about to become entirely visible in the light. The scent love is getting closer to your physical door. The painful preparation phase is officially coming to an end. The roots have gone deep enough, and now the tree is finally allowed to breach the surface. You are stepping into the season of absolute harvest. Stay anchored in this truth as the energy begins to shift. Do not let the sudden change in momentum frighten you back into your old hiding places. I am turning up the heat because the cold season is over. The heavy winter coat is coming off, and you are going to feel the brilliant warmth of the sun on your face again. I am moving you from the hidden workshop to the open field. The tools of survival are being replaced with the instruments of joy. You will no longer need to brace yourself against the wind because the wind is finally changing direction. Prepare your heart for a massive flood of the very thing you thought you would never see. Every single thing I have spoken over you today has been building toward this exact moment. I did not bring you this far just to explain your past and leave you standing in the exact same spot. Explanation is wonderful, but explanation alone does not change your daily reality. I am about to shift the actual ground beneath your feet. You can feel the atmosphere in the room changing right now. That is not your imagination, and it is not just emotional excitement. That is the heavy presence of my spirit actively rearranging the invisible pieces of your life. The long season of merely surviving is being violently torn down to make room for a season of thriving. I want to show you exactly what is coming. I want you to step into it with me right now, so your mind can finally stop arguing with my promise. Come with me to an evening, just a few short months from now. You are walking into your own house after a very long day, but the way you walk through the door is completely different. You do not pause on the porch to gather your energy. You do not take a deep breath to prepare yourself for the heavy atmosphere inside. You turn the key and you walk directly into a space that feels entirely like a sanctuary. I am going to call this the room transformed. It is your exact same house, but the air inside it is completely new. Notice what is missing in the room transformed. The thick tension that used to swallow you whole is simply gone. You do not feel the immediate need to hide in your bedroom to escape the demands of the people around you. You set your keys on the counter, and your shoulders actually drop an entire inch. You are completely safe here. You walk into the kitchen, and there is a profound stillness. It is not the terrifying silence of isolation that you used to dread. It is the rich and golden silence of a soul that has finally stopped running. You pour a glass of water and you realize you have not worried about tomorrow for the entire afternoon. The anxiety is completely broken. That peaceful woman or that steady man in the kitchen is not a fairy tale character. That person is you. That reality is not sitting 10 years in the future waiting for you to become perfect. That reality is standing just outside your current field of vision. The room transformed is a guarantee I am making to you right now. But I need you to understand how we bridge the gap between where you are today and that beautiful kitchen. The bridge is not built with your frantic effort. You cannot hustle your way into absolute peace. The bridge is built by your willingness to finally let me be the one who fights the incredibly heavy battles for you. You have been the general of your own tiny army for decades. You have defended your borders and protected your heart from every incoming threat. I am politely asking you to resign your commission today. Hand me the sword. You are far too exhausted to keep swinging at shadows. Let the creator of the universe be your active defense. The moment you drop the sword is the moment the heavy doors begin to swing open. The love I have been sending you cannot enter a house where a terrified soldier is constantly pacing the walls. The love requires a surrendered heart, and surrender is not a sign of weakness. Surrender is the ultimate expression of profound trust. I have one more thing I am going to hand you before we finish today. It is the most important thing I have brought for you. I will call it the final delivery. It is the master key that locks the old season away permanently so it can never touch you again. But I am not going to give it to you right now, in this chaotic momentum. You will not receive the final delivery in the loud and aggressive part of this message. You will receive it at the very end when the words slow down and the room becomes incredibly quiet. Do not walk away when it sounds like I am saying goodbye. The farewell is actually the doorway to the final and most crucial revelation. The enemy wants you to click away before the key is handed over. The noise of the world is going to try to distract you in these next few minutes. Your phone might buzz, or your mind might suddenly remember a stressful task. Ignore it. Bind your attention to my voice right now because your absolute freedom is hanging in the balance. You have waded through an ocean of grief to get to this specific shore. Do not turn back when your feet are finally touching dry land. Stand firm. The heavy chains are currently dissolving around your ankles. The fierce love of heaven is actively washing over your tired spirit. The climax of your long waiting season is here. Breathe in deeply and let the reality of my absolute power settle into your bones. You are not a victim of a random and cruel universe. You are the highly favored child of a king who is fiercely territorial over your heart. We are walking into the peak of this mountain together. Keep your eyes completely open. I need you to hear me in the very center of your being today. You have spent decades believing that your intense loneliness was a permanent life sentence. You thought your profound capacity to love was actually a terrible curse because it always left you completely empty. I am ending that argument right now. The toxic lie stops here. It does not merely soften, it absolutely ends. You were never foolish for keeping your heart soft in a world that constantly rewarded the cruel and the guarded. Every time you forgave someone who did not deserve it, I saw it. Every time you chose to be kind while your own heart was actively bleeding, I saw it. Every time you showed up for someone else, when you desperately needed someone to show up for you, I saw it. None of that beautiful collateral went unwitnessed. Not one single hour of it was wasted. You have been calling yourself completely broken, but heaven has been calling you incredibly faithful. Now hear the absolute truth about your beautiful future. Because you kept your heart completely open when the world gave you every reason to close it, I am moving you out of the room of isolation. I am bringing you directly into a season of being relentlessly pursued by my profound love. Look up. You will no longer measure your worth by who walked away. You will measure your absolute value by who stayed. I am the one who stayed. I have always been the one who stayed. That is the fundamental truth of your entire existence. The painful days of you begging for tiny crumbs of affection are officially over forever. You are deeply and violently loved. You are not a forgotten afterthought in my kingdom. You are the exact person I have been fiercely fighting for. I want you to let that reality wash over every single broken piece of your tired soul. You are completely safe now. Now that you have received this massive revelation, I have to tell you what will come to try to take it back. The noise of the world hates the fact that you are finally stepping into your true identity. The enemy is going to quietly try to convince you that this message was just a fleeting, emotional moment. He will whisper that by tomorrow morning nothing will have actually changed. Listen to me very carefully before you go back to your normal routine. There is a terrible cost to living one more year under the old heartbreaking arrangement. The heavy cost is paid quietly in the beautiful things you slowly stop expecting. If you walk away from this truth and go back to your old hiding places, you will slowly freeze to death emotionally. You will build the heavy walls again. You will lock yourself back inside the cold room because it feels comfortably familiar to you. I absolutely refuse to let you do that to yourself. I am standing firmly between you and that tragic outcome right now. I am not moving an inch, but you have to actively stay where my hand can easily reach you. This is not a dark threat. This is the desperate plea of a father who knows exactly what is at stake for his beloved child today. You are going to have to make a definitive choice today. You can keep carrying the agonizing belief that you are unwanted, or you can drop it right here on the floor and walk away completely clean. Do not carry the heavy bags back out to your car. Leave them here with me. I deeply want you to be totally free. But genuine freedom is not something I can force upon you against your own will. Freedom is a bright door that you must consciously choose to walk through. You are standing right on the threshold of the most beautiful season of your entire life. Do not turn back now. You are incredibly close to the absolute breakthrough. The heavy iron chains are already unlocked and resting loosely on your tired shoulders. You just have to stand up and let them fall to the ground completely. Take a deep breath. Stand up boldly inside the holy truth I just handed to you. Before we move into the quietest part of our time together, I need you to understand something crucial. Leaving this place with a heavy heart is a choice you no longer have to make. The old agreement you made with sadness is completely revoked. I am officially canceling the debt you thought you owed to your painful past. Do not let the fear of disappointment steal the profound joy that is standing right in front of you. You have been amazingly brave for so long. Now I am simply asking you to be brave enough to be unconditionally loved. Hold on to that beautiful truth as the room finally goes soft. What comes next is going to sound exactly like the end. The voice will naturally slow down. The words will get a little shorter. That is not the actual end, my child. That is simply the holy doorway to the deepest truth. The final delivery I kept is still safely resting in my hands, and it is officially handed over on the other side of this beautiful, quiet moment. Stay here with me in the stillness. I am not asking you for anything else today. I am firmly telling you that the profound sentence I promised you is still owed to you. I do not ever leave a massive debt like that unpaid. It comes right now in the quietest part of the room. I want to speak to you the way a deeply loving father speaks at the end of a very long and exhausting day. The heavy teaching is entirely finished. The intense spiritual instructions are over. What is left right now is strictly between the two of us. Put the heavy notebook down. This last part is not meant to be studied or analyzed. It is only meant to be gently received. Here is the final delivery I held back until your tired heart was truly ready to carry it. The love I am pouring into you today is not just meant to slowly heal your painful past. It is meant to completely rewrite the dark legacy of your entire family line. You are the absolute end of the generational curse of intense loneliness. You courageously chose to stay open when it hurt the most. Because of that, the children who come after you will never wonder if they are deeply wanted. You absorbed the terrible impact of the rejection so they would never have to feel it in their own bones. That is the massive victory you achieved while you thought you were merely surviving. You broke the heavy cycle. That is the monumental truth you are walking out of this quiet room with today. You are not just a weary survivor holding onto the wreckage. You are a profound generational pioneer building a brand new house. I am so incredibly proud of the beautiful and resilient heart you have kept beating all these difficult years. Let the profound weight of my holy approval settle deep into your bones right now. I have said absolutely everything I came to say to you today. What happens next is no longer mine to actively do. It is yours. Right now you are simply someone who heard a beautiful message and felt a warm feeling. In 30 seconds you can powerfully become someone who actually declared it to the world. Those are two very different people. The second person is much harder for the enemy to talk out of their blessing in the morning. A truth that stays hidden inside your head can still be fiercely argued with when the sun comes up. But a truth you have firmly written down in the open cannot be argued with quite so easily. I want you to publicly seal this profound transformation right now. Write the words, "I am loved," in the space below. Write them boldly and deliberately. Let this specific place know that you officially stayed to the very end of the journey. I read exactly what my precious children write. When you type those simple words, you are signing a brand new covenant with your beautiful future. And then I am gently asking you to do one more courageous thing before you leave. There is one specific person whose face came to your mind while I was speaking today. You know exactly who they are. They are currently sitting in the dark, feeling entirely forgotten by the world, just like you were. Send this message directly to them right now. Do not just silently send the link. Write one honest sentence telling them exactly why you thought of them today. That single sentence from you will matter significantly more than everything I have said in this entire hour. You are going to be the literal answer to their desperate and silent midnight prayer. You came in here carrying a terrible burden you had stopped noticing you were carrying. You are not walking out with it. What you are walking out with instead is smaller and heavier and infinitely better. You are walking out with the absolute knowledge that you are fiercely and relentlessly pursued by my unfailing love. The heavy season of brutal isolation is officially over. You are fully seen. You are completely known. You are profoundly and eternally cherished. The glorious door stands wide open. Now go. Walk out of here the way a person walks when they have finally stopped auditioning for a place they already belong to. I am with you. Go.